we are recording. I'm going to turn this one on. All right, we are recording here as well.
Okay.
I'm going to set maybe that one just kind of right next to it. Yeah, that's good. We might even be able to. What if we just put it in your pocket
All right. Let me move this one.
there? Okay, yeah.
How about now?
That worked there. Oh, two down in there. Here, let me try one more thing here. I don't want it to get this ruffling of your shirt.
Oh, don't worry about the shirt.
I'm gonna set it right there behind you. So it's right there next to you.
Okay, don't worry about the shirt.
Okay. We are recording. All right. We are finally ready to go.
We start right now, or
We are starting. Yep. So we are here.
okay. I'm my nephew Andy's here, and this is the story of George Mrkvicka. Uh, before becoming United States citizen, my name was Zarko, and now I'm called by George. Uh, I was 14 and a half years old when I escaped former Yugoslavia into Austria. The escape was very hazardous and very dangerous. Two of us persons, I didn't even know the second person, we were buried in a coal train, a uh, flatbed, uh, and we were buried there. And but we did not know about going through a tunnel through Alps, and the tunnel is probably around 5 kilometers long, and you can imagine the driver of that locomotive spewing out the the garbage from coal, uh, burning the coal, and we were very lucky that we survived that trip because when we got on the other side of tunnel, that was Austria. We could not believe the people that were waiting for us there, clapping, saying, "Welcome, welcome." I'm a little bit tears when,
Yeah.
uh, and at police, we ended up at the police station and we were interrogated, and then we were assigned to farmers. They needed help because quite a few men in Austria and Germany died during the war in millions. So there were 8 women to a men. So they needed a very badly male help. And the bad story about me is I ended up with a farmer that was a Nazi, and the house that I lived in was small, little bitty house, dirt, no floor, no running water, no toilet, no lights, no heater, and I spent 4.5 months with that person. It was unbelievable that I actually made it because I met a person, Croatian person from Dalmatia, Ivan Živic, and he worked for a farmer that was the richest farmer in a little town. And I told him what I'm living though, and he says, "No, that's not right. I'm going to talk to my farmer, see if he can come over here." And it was only about 500 yards away. There was this new farmer, very, very beautiful. And he came to get me and he says, "Now you're going to be with us." It's almost like a motel. We had nice bed, nice room, running water, toilet, Can you imagine spending 4.5 months without water, toilet, and heating? I cannot believe that somebody would do something to a person like this. And I thought I died, went to heaven when I got the new farmer.
Mm.
I mean, I had my own bed, my own room, heating,
Mm.
no dirt floor, toilets, and that was the beginning of my staying in Austria.
Mm.
And to my surprise, I received a letter from my parents telling me that this one family that I knew from Lokwe are in Austria, in camp. It was Linz. The town was called Linz, Austria. So I told this farmer that I will quit and move to Linz, and I met the family there from Lokwe, and I lived with them for a while. Uh, and I worked on a farm 5 days, and then Friday night going back to camp for weekend. And this one weekend I came home and there were no lights in the room. So I kept asking, "What's wrong with the lights? What's wrong with lights?" So I turned the lights on. There was mom and dad standing there.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Sorry.
No, just take your time, George.
What what a beautiful beginning.
Mm.
Having your parents with you, and then later on your brother Ted
Mm.
Bojidar showed up, and we found a construction job. So no more farmers. We work on a construction building a tunnel in Alps in a town called Reute. And there were about 10 of us Croatians that every day the Sukspice would bring us up to where the tunnel was built. It was very dangerous. It was probably 14,000 feet high. And we worked there probably for about month and a half. And then the company decided that it's too dangerous for us to work there. And back to the camp with my parents. In the meantime, my mom, born in the United States, in the United States, had two sisters living in Detroit, Michigan. They were never going back to Croatia. They stayed in the United States all the time, and they were our sponsor to go to the United States. And in about 6 months, that's what happened. We went on a ship called General Langford, and we sailed from Germany all the way to New York City for about 13 days. Huge waves. Mom and dad got very sick. And for some reason, I stayed okay all the time, all the way to New York City, and we passed. Uh, what's of Liberty?
The Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty. We passed Statue of Liberty, and that was great to see that.
I bet.
You know, and going through that, all those other refugees went through all those. It was amazing, though.
Mm.
And then on a train, oh, it took us forever to get to Detroit, where both of my mom's sisters met us, and we stayed there for quite a while, and there was no work for us there at all, and so everybody says go to Chicago, a lot of work. That was rough. Go there with parents not speaking English. Uh, Same here. Uh, uh, anyway, we came to Chicago, and mom had some friends there, Croatian people, that found us an apartment. We were told don't have to pay until you get a job. And my my mom, really good on sewing machines, found a job right away at Florsheim Shoe Company, which is one of the best shoes in the world. And and I went there asking for a job. They said not right now. But my dad found a place for where they had just some kind of construction that he didn't have to know very much. It was getting very hard on him though. So it was heavy work, very heavy work though. In the meantime, I was called from Fortune Shoe Company. Would I like to learn to become a person to repair those machines? I said, yeah, sure. But the person that was supposed to teach me though, he says, no, I don't want to lose my job training this guy though. So I didn't learn anything though. And I figured out, no, there's no, I just told the boss, I says, I'm out of here. And found a Croatian guy that was a machinist, mom and dad's friend. And he was a manager at the machine shop. Asked him if I could learn the trade. He says, come on. In 4 years, I become a machinist, learn a trade. But then I wanted to be a tool maker, which is another 2 years of training. So there's together 6 years training to be a tool maker. Learn that trade, and uh, my brother Ted, your dad, kept asking me daily, why don't you go apply for a job at Rocky Flats? I said, no, they're not going to hire me. Next day, same thing. Why don't you apply for? Okay. So I said, so I went, signed for a job. Right away, they asked me, when can you start? I says, can you give me 2 weeks so I can tell you people now I have a new job? We don't want to lose you. Yeah, I said, but that's, you know, probably going to be my life job there. Went there, and again, I thought I died, went to heaven. I had a beautiful job, good people, good benefits, good money. 21 and a half years, I retired,
It's amazing.
and here I am.
Yeah.
So that's the story, how we started. You and I would not be here if I didn't came to Austria, because this is where the beginning start.
Yeah.
You know, your mom met your dad and 3 children. Well, David was uh, what do they call it? Adopted. And here we are in Arvada, or in a beautiful city.
Yep.
So that's the story here.
So can I ask some questions?
Yes.
Okay. So you started off talking about being 14 and a half and leaving Yugoslavia. Can you talk a little bit about your time in Yugoslavia, those first 14 years? What was that like? Maybe, and let's just go through, if you can, if you could say the names of your parents.
Engelbert and Victor.
Engelbert and Victor. Talk about your time there, and what was your childhood like, going to school, and then what ultimately, why did you leave? Why did you have to leave? What was going on there during those first 14 years?
Okay, I'll start from the start. 1945, Uh, my mom and many other mothers and their kids, we were running from one house to until it catches a fire to the next house, and our house burned down.
Mhm.
And we went. We had uh, we had a couple of horses, a couple of cows, no sheep, and mom and I went looking for our animals, and all over dead people, soldiers,
Mm.
which was very terrified. You know, some of them were still yelling, screaming, you know, and then maybe a couple of kilometers down, there were two kids that went to school with me. They were hugging each other dead,
Mm.
and very bad. I mean, the house was burned down completely, and barn, and so we had to start over. So we were staying at mom's brother house. His name was mm, gosh, see age. Was mom very nice person though. Well, anyway, we stayed there, and grandpa. Oh, before I forget, grandpa was Czech born. He immigrated from Prague, Czechoslovakia to Croatia,
Mm.
and became one of the best business in the whole town.
What was his name?
His name was Anton. Anton, like Anton with Andy.
Oh,
But it's pronounced Antun.
did you know how to spell that?
Antun.
Antun. Okay. Same last name.
No,
Mrkvicka.
yeah, that's where we got our
Yeah.
names.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's why everybody says, you're not Croatian. It's not Croatian name. Croatian names all sound with like like Jokic, like this a Serbian guy that plays for Nuggets,
Uh-huh.
and so most of the names are a- the Dalmatian names.
Yeah.
And so things are going back to normal, and communist country decided that they're gonna train me to be a barber. So I was sent to Zagreb, main city in Croatia, and these old timers barbers there, they couldn't care less whether I was there or not.
How old were you then?
I was probably 13 years old,
Wow.
start. And so I says, there's no future for me here.
Mhm.
And went, you met young people, I meet young people, and they will always talk about how they don't like the communism, you know. I didn't like communism, but, and if you were church going, they always, you're always afraid what they're going to do.
Mm.
So anyway, while 14 and a half year old, I was asked if I would like to escape the Yugoslavia. And I says, yes, sure, why not?
Who asked you that?
I never knew who the person was.
Ah.
There was undercover, somebody that was against the communism. They were doing this to people. They want to get out, get away from communism.
Mm. Mm.
And so they told me there's going to be another person, no name, don't have to look at him. You guys be going to Slovenia, which was part of Yugoslavia, and this is where you're going to be put into the train, recovered just a phase with, and from then on you on your own.
Wow. And you're 14 years old.
14 and a half years old. Can you imagine going to another country where you have to learn a language?
Everything. Yeah.
Austria, they speak German because they are Germans.
Right.
I had to learn German, and I got pretty good at it. I spoke probably as good as I can speak English,
Wow.
you know.
Mhm.
But if you would ask me now, though, I don't think I would be very good at it,
I remember.
you know. And that's how the life started for me at 14 and a half years old.
So You were born in 1936?
Yes,
1936. So in 1945, when you talked about the houses burning down and seeing the soldiers, you were
yes,
nine
nine
years
years
old.
old. Yeah.
Who were burning the homes down? Who were killing the people? What was
Well,
going on?
the area is like Colorado,
Uh-huh,
but you got hills,
uh-huh.
you got forest, and they were shooting their grenades and whatever down. That's how they put the houses on fire, though. You know,
Who was doing the
the Germans,
uh-huh,
and then later on the partisans, the communists.
uh-huh.
You know, so I think 40% of the Lockwood was gone,
Wow.
was burned down,
So Lokve was the town that you
was born.
born in and grew up
Yes,
in
yes.
until you were 14. You said your grandfather was a businessman out there.
Very, I
Mhm.
mean, very good business. I mean, yeah, can you imagine him coming from Czech Republic to Croatia, not knowing anybody?
Yeah.
And there, I don't know, I have no idea how he started all the businesses, you know?
What were some of the businesses he had out there?
He had a store, like grocery store and
Uh-huh.
a tavern, and he was a accordion player, and he was also at weddings in his tavern.
Oh wow.
Make money any way he can,
Yeah.
you know. But I don't know how he started the lumber mill because that was the biggest job he had.
Mhm.
He was a big supplier for almost half the Croatia, though,
Wow.
for the lumber.
So this was your father's father.
Hard
Right.
father, yes.
So was your family considered like a wealthy family then in Lokve?
Uh, average,
Average. Okay. Uh-huh.
average, you know.
Mhm.
But you know, grandfather, I tell you how nice he was when I was in Austria. He was sending me those gold coins.
Mhm.
But when you go in the stores, I would go into the store and he would just keep looking, make sure I don't take any candy though. You know, and I would walk out of there without candy.
Yeah.
But if the grandma was there, I know I'm gonna get some candy
Yeah.
though. And he would never take anything bad about my grandma was his wife,
Uh-huh.
and they had 7 kids, 9 kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah, can you imagine such a big family?
So your dad was one of nine.
One of nine.
Do you know the names of the other
Uh,
all your aunts and uncles?
if I would have known that, I would have written down
Uh-huh.
before we came here,
Uh-huh.
though. I my
And we can come
gosh,
back to it if you think
uh,
of it. And,
Slavko, oh my gosh, uh, Angelina. Yeah, I would have to write it down. Probably some other time I can tell you, but
okay. Where was your dad in that nine? Do you know?
he was pretty. I think I got the nine wrong. It must have been seven.
Oh, seven. Okay.
Seven. I think it was probably one of the oldest.
Oldest. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, Emma was another my aunt.
uh-huh.
Slavka. My gosh, yeah. I will get your name. So I think there were 4 girls and three guys.
Did you have a lot of cousins then? Did they have a lot of kids?
Quite a few kids.
Yeah.
Yes, quite a few kids.
Did they all escape and leave, or did
Oh
any
no,
stay?
most of them. I was actually the only one left. The little liquid.
Oh, is that right?
Besides then, my mom, dad, and your dad.
And my dad. Tell
Yeah.
me about Lupe. Is it a big city, big town, small, or?
It's probably about 25 homes.
Oh wow. Uh-huh.
Uh, Population might be 7, 8 thousand people.
Ah,
You know, but it's just like Colorado. It's all hills and
ah,
all forest
mhm.
because they call it Gorski Kotar. That means forest. Kotar now will be all the Croatians know that's where the lumber can come from, and that's how the houses are built.
Uh-huh.
Because you need wood to build a house.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And your grandpa
and
was the
that's how
guy that.
grandpa was supplier though.
Yep.
You
Wow.
know,
So your dad, Victor, do you remember his date of birth?
1909.
1909. Do you remember what his actual birthday is?
I I don't know.
No,
I
I
don't
can't
even know. My
remember
mom was
either.
born in 1910.
1910. Okay.
Yeah.
1910. All right, so we'll just jump around a little bit, and hopefully that'll come to make sense. So when this person approached you about leaving
Hmm.
when you're 14, did you talk to your folks about it? Did you talk to my dad about it? Did they know what happened to you? What was that like?
This is what was the hardest thing for me.
Mhm,
I'm in a country that I don't speak the language,
mhm,
and I don't know what I'm going to do, where I'm going to be. And I was afraid to mail them a letter.
mhm.
I waited probably 4.5 months before I sent them a letter,
Mm.
and they found out where I am. Thank God, they probably said, "My goodness, we didn't know if he was alive or they were alive, though. Didn't hear from me."
Yeah.
And that's when we start communicating, though. You know,
So they just thought you disappeared. They didn't know.
they didn't know where I was,
Wow.
nowhere.
And was what? Why did you not tell them? For fear of?
Oh, for fear, because then I wouldn't be able to escape.
Ah, uh-huh.
This was one of those things that you keep your mouth shut.
Gotcha.
You couldn't even tell your best friend what's gonna happen.
So that was 1950, 1951,
At 50,
1950.
it was actually 1951 we got into Austria.
Okay.
So
And so then my dad, your brother, is 4 years older,
yes,
right? So you were born 36, June 8th,
June 8,
June 8th,
36,
and he was born July 24th, 1932.
1932.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you know about my brother, your dad, that during the war, I don't know where he was. He was nowhere in a Oakway, uh, and here I got a brother, and I don't even know where he is.
Really? Wow.
And I kept asking my mom. I says, "Where's Bojidar? Don't worry, that's all. That's all he would say,
Mm,
you know, because he was uh, he was everything to them, though your dad,
mm,
because they knew that he's very very smart. He's very educated. He was. I was nowhere near
mm,
to him as far as being intelligent. Yeah, like a dad, though. I mean, he studied medicine for 2 years. All he had to do 2 more years. We were in a doctor
mm.
in Holland,
In Holland.
but he missed us over here in the United States, though, so much that he just wanted to come to the United States. And then he's decided he wants to be a mechanical engineer,
Mm, mm.
just the opposite of medical,
Yeah.
you know. And he ended up with Coors, and he was the happiest guy in the world
Yeah.
working there.
Yeah.
I don't know how he was with you guys.
Mhm.
Was he a happy guy?
Yeah.
Was he happy dad?
He was happy, and it's interesting when I think now, and he would never talk about growing up out there. And I wonder if it was too hard for him, too scary, hearing how traumatic it was,
Yeah.
the stories. And I remember being um, 12 years old, 11 years old. Um, and it was interesting. We would come here at this house to visit grandma and grandpa.
Mhm.
And their English, they did, their English wasn't great. And so when we would come sit, Dad would talk in Croatian to them,
Uh-huh.
and we would never really understand what they were talking about. And so I'd ask him, would you teach us Croatian?
Mhm.
And he was adamant that he would not, that he was in America now, that he's an American now, and that he was going to speak English. And
That's
I would get frustrated with him. And now it's starting to make sense about why, maybe he wanted to protect us from some of those stories.
you know, what I for problem for. I haven't seen him in Lokeway. I would say from when I was 5, 6 years old
Really,
till I see him, after the war.
really,
And I never, I kept asking mom, I says, where's Bozidar?
yeah,
You know? So, and then I asked your dad, I said, okay. I said, you and I are brothers.
uh,
I says, where were you for all those years during the war?
yeah,
And he never gave me an answer.
really.
So
So we don't know.
couldn't figure that out.
And he was only like 10 then, right?
Yeah.
10, 11 years old?
But we had families all over Yugoslavia, though.
Uh-huh.
It could have been by somebody that my mom and dad wanted to protect him from being hurt or killed or something.
Wow.
And that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was a pain in the neck for my parents.
Yeah.
I was a troublemaker all the time.
How so? What were?
Well, go to school and make fun. The teacher call your parents.
Yeah.
Hey, Zarko, or there is misbehaving. And then my dad was very well. He would hit me very hard.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes, yes. And I was scared of him, though, very much so.
Huh?
Mom never cared of she,
Yeah.
just and
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
And what like I said, the nicest person to me and my family was my grandma.
Mm.
You wouldn't believe it, though, how given every time she would see me, though, she would have apron with the pockets.
Uh-huh.
There was always something in there for me. Give it to me.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's how much she appreciates kids, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she would go and be raking the hay because we got our horses and the cows back, so we had to get the hay for them. And she would go up in a pretty far away from the house, and she would bring stuff, candies, maybe cookies or something.
Yeah.
And there she was. She was raking the hay to get it in the bunches so they'd be picked up and brought back to the stall for the animals that we had.
Wow.
And that's how we survived. We had chickens, so we had eggs. And I think there were 3 or 4 sheep that we had. 2 cows. I remember watching those cows, getting them for raising them to go up and eat. And one time I fell asleep and I lost them in the woods. And, oh my God, I says, now it's a whole bunch of people just came looking for them and they found them, though. And I got a pretty bad talking about, you don't fall asleep, but you got to watch your cows. And okay. But good thing there was no beating or nothing. But that's what I was doing for a couple of years, so for the cows. And the house was built the same way like it was before. But then when I went to Croatia, though, about 6 years ago, I went to the house and it's falling apart. It looks terrible.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And my cousin, he was alcoholic. Right across the street, he had to go for his bottle of wine. And he said to me, he says, "You come here to get the house?" He says, I don't want this house. I said, I'm a house in the United States.
Yeah.
They were worried about that I came from my cousin and his wife to take the house because my mom and dad gave them, when they immigrated to Austria, they gave them the house.
Wow.
They said, your house is yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was Franziska and Ivan. Name of that, my cousin. And when I came there, and they thought that I came there to, so my other cousin, Yura was his name, I think, he got so mad at me, he wouldn't talk to me.
Because they thought you were there to
repossess
the house.
That I came to take the house away from.
Wow.
I don't want that house. I have a house in the United States.
Yeah.
What do I want?
Yeah.
I don't want nothing to do over here. So after that, though, I had no, how would you say, don't want to go there anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And the only thing I'm very angry at myself that I never took you, Mark, and David to see Croatia. I would have loved to do that.
Yeah, I would have loved that too.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you would be surprised how beautiful the Croatia is, though.
I'll get out there one day for sure.
If you do, stop at Lokwe.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I
You know.
definitely will.
And
So Lokve's still there
still there.
as a city called Lokve. Gotcha.
You just anybody you're gonna ask over there for Mrkvicka, you know, they don't say Mrkvicka, they say Mrkvicka.
Mrkvicka.
And they will look at you and they'll say, going, by the way, oh, you must be their relative. You know, right away they know.
Yeah.
And then you just tell them, where's my dad's house? Because their dad's house was my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just show it to you. It's probably even worse by now. Because the whole town, all the young people are just leaving that local. They go into the Adriatic Sea town. It's called Rijeka, which means river. And Italians, they call it Fiume, because Italians occupied that area at one time. They actually occupied Croatia, though.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were teaching me Italian, though. As a kid, though, you know. And they were teaching you nasty words instead of nice words, you know. And they were never, I never expected them as soldiers. So they, as soon as they would hear a shot, they would be running under the table, you know.
Oh, really? Oh.
And then you get these Germans, they hear a shot, they roll their sleeves and they go out look for it.
Right.
You know, a difference between one nationality to the other. That's what they say Italians are lovers, not fighters.
Right.
You know. And because we had Italians, we had Germans, we had partisans and commies, and then we had Croatian. They were. That was a big mistake Croatia made. They were with Germans and Italians, you know, and they made a bad name for Croatia though, because you know what the Germans did to Jewish people.
Oh yeah.
And well, same thing. Croatians were doing the same thing.
Oh really?
You know, but they were not killing people like the Germans did. But they would chase the Jewish people out, which was bad. It's their property. Leave them alone.
Oh wow.
And so there were three countries together. That was four. It was Germany, Austria, Italy, and Croatia. But Croatia didn't do nothing in war because they had nothing. They had no guns or.
Right, it has resources.
Their resources.
Yeah, wow.
What they're gonna do. And but the Germans, we had a walkway around next to us, the barn, and there were three Germans that blocked that way with a machine gun they had.
Oh wow.
And my grandma, I tell you how good, she had a broom in her hand and she hit the guy over the German guy over the head. And me, like a little kid, I says, my God, you know, we're done.
Yeah.
And he just turned around and she was mad that they blocked her from not going into the garden. She had a garden. And that's why I had a lot of respect for her.
Yeah, yeah.
She was the greatest thing I ever seen her.
Oh, that's
nice. And well, like I said, so your dad though, when we came to the United States though, and then when we moved to Chicago, your dad, no, Vince was working in hospitals as a tech and all that. And we used to go by those hospitals. They had nice tennis courts. Your dad and Vince and I, we played tennis there for hours.
Oh wow!
You know, and I don't know how Didi met Winston. I don't know, but I know it's because she worked as a nurse and he worked in the hospital, so that's when they met.
Yeah.
So
I want to go back to it. I'd never heard the story about my dad not living with you guys when you were children. That he was So he, for like the first 5 years of your life, he was there, all four of you.
Mhm.
And then one day he was just gone.
Just gone.
Nobody told you anything. And you didn't see him again until you were in Austria?
No, no, oh no, we met in Croatia though.
Oh, you did?
Yes, we met in Croatia. And then I was asking him though.
Yeah.
I says, little kids asking little kid,
Yeah.
where'd you go?
Uh-huh.
Never mind.
So how many years was that? That from the last time you saw him? Till
I
you saw him
think it was
again?
probably around 4 years or maybe.
Really?
You know,
Wow.
and I was wondering though. I says, why is he not around though?
Yeah.
He didn't sleep with us, and there was no. He didn't eat with us.
Mhm.
And mom and dad want to protect him so badly though that wherever he went though, he was in a safe place.
Mm.
You know,
Wow.
because they to them he was their future.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If they ever need something, your dad would be the one.
Ah. Mm.
Because, like I said, I was a bad boy. You know, but I learned a good trade,
Yeah.
toolmaker.
Mhm.
6 years of training though, just for a toolmaker, it's a lot.
Yeah. That's yeah.
It's a lot. You know, it's almost like a doctor.
Right. Right.
And then ended up with a beautiful job at the Rocky Flats.
Yep.
Uh, People, there were 63 of us toolmakers.
Wow.
We had our own building
Mm. Mm.
that we had an engineer like your dad engineer. We had design stuff, and then we would make that stuff.
Mm.
And it was all for those guys that were making nuclear bombs.
Uh-huh.
We were making the tools for them.
Wow.
So I had nothing to do with nuclear material.
Mhm.
I only went to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
Plutonium.
Yeah.
I was really anxious to see a plutonium though.
Yeah.
And my goodness, I had to go into the spacesuit,
Sure.
supplied air.
Mhm.
And I said, well, this is it. I said, no, I said, that's the darn thing that blows up like crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
And then when I was watching them, how they put that thing together, and then they would ship to Texas. When finished, they would ship it to Texas. And you wouldn't believe that the vehicles they had with guns, with all those guys trained to protect that stuff.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
And I was watching them putting it together, and I said, "My God, look at that stuff! How that thing? What it looks like?" And I said, "It's one of those things can kill a million people."
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I said, "Okay, I'm working with that stuff for that. I I hope they never use the atomic bomb.
Right. Right. Mhm.
Let's pray to God they don't have to use it."
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Of course. Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
and but like I said, though, I learned, and like I said, I did my share as far as the United States. I served the United States Army, honorable discharge.
Mhm.
Almost 22 years nuclear.
Wow. Mhm.
I think I did okay.
I think you did too,
You know.
George. Yep.
So anybody that tells me wrong,
Oh, I don't think anybody would ever. Yeah.
So, but
You had told me a story once about when you had to escape. You were in the coal trains. Um, about how they would stop in tunnels.
yes,
Yeah. Can you tell that
I
story?
forgot to tell you that.
Yeah.
The how they would kill the people escaping.
Mhm.
They uh, they would stop the train in the middle of the tunnel
Mhm.
for, and maybe just the dark stuff shooting out.
Just like the coal and the we can just set that probably. Sorry, right there. That would just be fine right there. Yeah. Mhm. Yep.
uh, the smoke. I was looking for the word smoke. Can you imagine a 150 years old locomotive?
Mhm.
I mean, my gosh, it's did they make the stuff? And then the train car we were on, that flatbed,
Mhm.
that thing was 100 years old, And what they did with those people, they would, if they would find out that they were buried like we were,
Yeah.
they would stop the train in the middle of a tunnel, and they would.
Just let the smoke run in the tunnel and
But what
suffocate
I
the
didn't
people.
understand is how did those they're running the locomotive? How did they didn't have no masks like we got now.
Oh, right, right,
Respirator. They didn't
right.
have
Yeah,
those things. How the heck did they?
yeah. They
I mean, they
survived it.
shooting the smoke up there.
Right. That's a good
But
question. Yeah.
so how? And we never knew about the tunnel.
Mm,
We were never told when we were put into that car
yeah.
that you guys are gonna go through a tunnel.
Uh-huh.
And like a dummies though, we and I said to myself, I says, when I see those people, Austrian people on the other side, clapping and yelling and
Yeah.
screaming, and we were black. I mean,
Oh, I bet. Covered.
and I said to myself, oh my God, look at this. And then the police were very nice about, they took information
Mm,
why they want to make sure that you're not undercover commie,
yeah.
you know. Uh,
So how long did it take? How long were you in the train? How long did it take for you to get from beginning to end to where those
I
people were
would say,
cheering for you?
I think the whole trip took about because because the, the station was right close to the tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to try and go through the tunnel to come different country.
Oh, uh-huh.
So I'm looking at about maybe 40 minutes,
Oh, wow. Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and because I could see when the train, and I see the tunnel, and there's communist guy with a machine gun.
Oh,
And I says, I hope he doesn't see me.
yeah. Uh-huh.
And I says, I didn't know about the tunnel.
All right. They left this
And I
information
didn't know
out.
the guy's name to go with me or
Yeah.
who he is or anything. I don't even know what he looks like right now.
Wow. Wow. Uh-huh.
You
Was
know,
it another kid or was it an adult or
he
anything?
was older. He was
Yeah.
older
Uh-huh.
than me.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's like after we never talked because we were told not to talk to each other, not to look at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got to the other tunnel, he came to me and he told me his name, but I can't think of it.
Ah.
Told me.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't talk to you because I was told not to be talking to you. And
Mm-hmm.
he says, you go your way, I'm going my way.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are their lives.
That was the end of that.
So then you left on your own. And so then did my dad and your folks, they came over together or
This is one thing I don't understand though.
uh-huh.
Remember when I told you about the lights in the house?
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
It's only mom and dad. Now,
Mm-hmm.
where's your dad?
Uh-huh.
So evidently, your dad came after my dad and mom.
Okay.
He had a guy that would bring him over the mountains,
Mm.
and the guy was from Mrkvicka.
Ah.
The guy that knew the area. That's what mom and dad did. They had to run, and they were already up in their age.
Mm-hmm.
And mom told me, my goodness, I could barely get across that mountain already. And I think your dad did the same thing. The same guy, bro. Because later on, your dad, I said, Steve, where were you? You know,
It's
don't
always the
worry,
question. Yeah. Where the heck were
don't
you?
worry.
So they actually went over the mountain
Over the
at
mountain.
night. And
Yes.
how long did that take? Do you know?
Gosh, I never did want to ask him though
Mm.
because they was very hard on them though.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
and they paid big bucks to this guy.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm.
And then it was a bad story that he wanted more money though.
Oh,
And I was surprised that mom talked to me about that.
yeah.
She says, I'm not gonna give him no more money. That was a deal made. How much?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
I says, Mom, they're gonna get mad at you. I says, that's all we had. That's all we gave him.
Mm. Mm. Wow.
And that's why I wonder if your dad had the same guy using to cross into Austria.
Ah.
You know.
Yeah. Wow.
And like I said, though, mom and dad, they always protected your dad. I mean, to them, he was their future,
Mm.
you know. And very often, Mom said to me, she says, "That's going really good. That's doing really good over here." I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "He's educated."
Mm.
I said, you, he's he's much better than I'm studying." And she said, "Oh, shut up," you know. So, and he was a very studious guy. He never heard of him being in trouble anywhere,
Mm.
any time. And myself, I was not very proud of myself being a kid like that.
Mm.
Was I was bad sometimes in school, and I shouldn't be even tell you that, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. They had a wedding in it's about 10 houses the other way from our house, and me and another guy, we looked inside the tavern where they had a party, and there was some wine left in so him and I like dummies. We got drunk. Can you imagine?
How old were you then?
Probably 10 years old.
Wow.
You know,
Hmm.
can you walk in the town and hey, you talking about getting beat up that time?
Oh, is that right?
My dad was so angry.
Mm.
He
Mm.
took a belt,
Oh, wow.
and if he would do that right now, he'd be in jail.
Right. Right. Yeah. Child abuse, right? Yeah. And this was your grandfather's tavern that you did this?
No, that was
Different one?
they were friends.
Ah.
They were friends with my grandpa,
Mm-hmm.
and they owned a tavern,
Ah.
bigger tavern than my grandpa had.
Mm.
And
You
but
snuck in.
grandpa same thing though. He wasn't very talkative to kids though.
Mm.
He would never say very much.
Mm.
Even though Czech language and Croatian language is not, people think it's the same, but it's not.
Yeah. Right.
It's different though.
Mm.
And like I said though, I would go to his store though, and would just he watch.
Yeah. Frugal guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
So I got some pictures I want to show you.
Okay.
And I'm not sure, maybe tell me who some of these people are, or tell me what you remember about them, or just anything that rings a bell. First one I found is, and I don't even know if you'd even be able to read that or see that, but it looks like my dad might be in that picture.
That's General Langford. That's the ship we came on.
It is. Uh-huh.
No, this is not. This is must be your dad when he came to the United States.
I think so. I think he's.
What's the name of the ship? I can't see it though.
Oh no, it says General Langford.
Does it say Langford?
Yeah, I believe it says it right there. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's the
Yeah.
ship. Boy,
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's my dad there. Yeah. Or
you know what it is. Your
is,
dad.
yeah. So I'm not sure, and I don't know if you know. I don't even know what language that is written down in there.
I think this is German. Yeah, that's German. But it is General Langford though.
That's the ship, huh?
That's the ship though.
It's cool.
That is your dad. My goodness. Does that look like Vincent to you next to your dad?
Oh, it might be. Yeah. It's hard for me to see, but yeah, that might be.
And they were good buddies though.
Yeah.
Him and my gosh, I would have never seen your dad. And I'm glad you told me I was a Langford, so
Yeah.
General Langford though.
Wow.
Can you imagine? I still remember the name.
Yeah,
of
that's
the
that's really cool.
That is a great picture though.
Mhm.
You know. And your dad was good with cameras though. He would buy any camera he can and take the pictures.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's
yes,
cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's a General Langford. How
Wow,
we
that's
doing?
cool.
Oh, we hit some waves about 20 foot high,
Oh, wow.
and the water was
Just want to
coming
make sure
over.
I show that because I want to, in case I put any notes on there later on. There we go.
Right there.
Yep. Tell me about this guy.
That's me.
Yeah. about that, huh?
Oh my gosh, my goodness.
Mm.
I remember the 8th Army, 5th Army, though. Let's see, 5th Army.
Uh-huh.
That's a battalion, though. 5th Army, though.
Oh, wow. Huh?
That was the biggest battalion the United States had.
That's a great picture.
That is, it's amazing, isn't it? And I looked, that looks like me.
Yeah, it sure is.
God. You
Uh-huh.
got any more of the surprises?
Oh, yeah, I got something. Who's this fella?
That's Grandpa I
Is
tell
that-
you about.
Is that's what I thought maybe it was, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's Grandpa. My gosh, look
Yeah.
at that.
Mhm.
Gosh, he was so nice to me when I was in Austria.
Mm.
That gold coin is, boy, that really, because I was really suffering with the Nazi guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he could even, somebody could be somebody mean to a
Treat
person,
a kid like that, yeah. Uh-huh.
Dirt floor, no water, no toilet,
Wow.
no heat, no,
Nothing.
I mean, no lights.
Nothing.
I was
Wow.
afraid. I was afraid of night. I said,
Well, I bet.
What they got? 14-and-a-half-year-old kid in something like this. So,
Yeah.
oh,
Wow.
grandpa, boy, I tell you, any more surprises?
I think so. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. Like I have these pictures and I'm not sure kind of what some of them are. I don't know if that's who these folks are as kids, if these are you all or cousins or
It must be cousins.
Yeah.
It must be cousins.
Those all look familiar.
I can't make out. I can't really make out anyone. Oh,
How about this one?
oh, that's mom.
Mm.
That's mom, and that's Matt. I think that's Matt.
Is that a cousin or?
Yeah, cousin.
Uh-huh.
That's mom, very young mom.
Yeah.
I can't make this. That could be your dad over here.
You think so? Might be. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think it is your dad.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cousin Matt.
Yep.
I'm gonna show that here just so I can remember who we're talking about here. Here we go.
This here, boy, I sure wish I would know this. I don't know.
How about this guy?
That's me.
Is that you?
That's me. That's me at the baptism.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's me.
That's awesome.
What was that taken though? I was wondering. It's not a church though. It doesn't look me, but it is me though.
No, I wondered if it was.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Let's see. Do you know anything about where this one or when this one would have been taken?
That's your dad.
Mhm.
That's your dad on General Langford.
Oh, that's on the Langford.
Langford. Yeah, that's your dad on Langford. Because we had those things
Uh-huh.
telling where you're going.
Uh-huh.
Identification card. Yeah, that's General Langford. And there was an army ship.
And so was this him coming to the United States then?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So what year would that have been? Do you think?
We came 1951. I think he must have come in 52 maybe.
Wow.
So
he was like,
I would say about 1952.
So he was only
No,
20 years
wait a
old.
minute. What, how come he wasn't with us on General Langford? But this is a General Langford though.
Mhm.
So the same ship must have been
Wow.
with him coming, because my dad and my mom and I were the only three on General Langford coming to the United States, because they got so sick though.
Oh.
They wouldn't even come upstairs. I had to go way down there to see him though.
Oh. Hmm.
And not me. I was just going up there and the water shooting over the bow,
Wow.
over 25 feet away and stuff, because they said to be don't go out there. We did anyway. So yeah,
So
that's your
generally,
dad.
wow. So he's like 20 years old there.
Yeah, it's amazing. So,
Take a look at this family.
there's mom, there's my dad.
Uh-huh.
But who are these little kids though? Who are those little kids? They gotta be us.
I'm wondering if it's,
You gotta be your dad and me.
yeah, that's what I'm guessing, but I wasn't sure. Because there's some, let's see here.
Yeah, why would they? They wouldn't have a strange kiss. They could
I wouldn't think so, right?
picture that,
I think I have like,
Well, this is amazing to see all those pictures.
a lot of like, let me see here. Like these kind of pictures.
Okay, that's your dad.
Mhm.
Who are these guys?
Are these like army? I don't know if these are like army photographs.
It must
These
be.
kind of,
Must be army. Yes. This must be his buddies, army buddies.
army buddy, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these are like sightseeing.
But this might be some bar or something. There's a jukebox over here, ain't it? That's a
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
jukebox.
yeah.
It might be a bar or something. No, how can you be a bar when they got a bed over here?
Oh, that's a good question.
It must be some of those kids' house or something. God, this here, I cannot. That's army for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. Like this definitely looks like an army
I see it.
army picture there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
The barracks there.
Yep. Because I think he's got a name tag over here, doesn't he? Your dad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here's an army photo there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is Fort Leonard Wood. That is where I was.
I wonder if this one was taken at the same time of the one you showed me.
Same,
I think that's Vince
that
there.
was taken same time.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's something, huh?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Because you see, your dad's got the Sunday uniform on, and
Uh-huh.
Vince's got the work in the fatigues. They call it fatigues. And your dad's got some kind of business envelope. So one day he was transferred over to go someplace or something. And it's look at the date, May 57.
May 57. Wow.
God,
So it was about 25 years old.
I was discharged in 57.
Oh, is that right?
Because he stayed longer than for me. He stayed before he was discharged.
Here's what I guess maybe it is where he was studying to be a doctor, maybe, or.
You know, I told you though, he was a medical technician though. I wonder if this is taken over when he was studying to become a doctor. Two more years, he would have been a doctor.
Wow.
Can you imagine what his mom and dad would be like when he was become a doctor?
Oh. So how did you all then, so you ended up in the United States, went to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
How did you all end up in Colorado as a family?
By your dad. Your dad, when he was discharged from the army, he says, I'm not going to Chicago. He just decided, I'm done with Chicago. I'm staying in Colorado.
Was he stationed here in Colorado with the army?
No, he was discharged from the army, and instead of going home to Chicago, he said, I'm going to Colorado.
Oh, had he been here before? Skiing or anything, or just decided?
I'm probably seeing the pictures, and he liked ski. And I was surprised because his mom says, your brother Bush died in Colorado, not coming to Chicago. And then my mom and dad talk your dad into get them house built over here
uh-huh.
in Arvada over here.
Mhm.
You know,
And that's the house we're in now.
It- my house right
Yeah.
here. So your dad never came back to Chicago.
Wow.
He stayed here, and then my mom and dad came here and lived for about. I lived in Chicago for probably another 5 years over there. I was a manager for one tool shop.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking at the letters they gave me for my job, so I can get a job at the Rocky Flats. And they told me if you want to come back anytime to get a job. Because the job I had as a manager in Chicago, the reason I got a job as a same manager because the owner died.
Mm.
I was the oldest employee, and his wife, she knew me.
Mm.
She says, "You want to be a manager for air machine?" I says, "Lady, I don't know nothing about being a manager." She says, "Just try it." And you know what? You know what, Andy? I was bringing stack of blueprints home every night.
Mm.
Try to estimate the jobs to 11 o'clock at night instead of going to sleep on. And I was getting actually nervous stomach though
Oh, wow.
because I was losing customers.
Oh.
And I had eight employees.
Mm.
And besides, I had to be estimating job, taking the customers out for dinner, and
Yeah.
and after about 1 year being a manager, I just decided I'm going to Colorado because mom and dad already were here, and your dad. And I didn't even tell them that. I don't even tell my mom and dad, I'll come to Colorado. I just packed up and
You guys love to surprise each
here
other.
it comes.
So do you know what year my dad came here?
It must have been right after he was discharged. Do you remember what year that he was discharged from the army?
I don't.
Because I know he he was a volunteer enlisted man later than me
Mm-hmm.
because I was already uh, I would have to say probably I'm guessing 59.
Okay. So I think you met my mom in early 60s.
Yeah.
In the early 60s.
And I don't even know how he met your mom though.
Through the Denver Cathedral Club.
Is that Avidan?
Yeah. That I know.
Okay.
So he came out here then. So do you remember? Do you know what year this house was built? Because I know I lived here for the first 3 years of my life.
Gosh, I don't know.
So probably late 60s, early 70s.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Late 60s.
Hmm.
But I remember our shop was in a bad neighborhood, and I had one of the Jeeps, and I quit working, and we were just going to go to Colorado, and when in the parking lot, I could see the broken window in my.
Oh, jeez.
They stole a spare tire. It was a brand new tire, though.
Oh, jeez.
And I was on the way to Colorado.
Oh, wow.
So I called the insurance, though. If they're gonna pay for it, though, and they kind of hesitated, so. But those days they covered everything, though. It's not like now
Right.
they don't even cover my windshield, though.
Right.
So, but I had to get. I said I'm getting out of here because I was hauling the bolt. I had 18.5-foot bolt. I brought it here to Colorado.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember you because you had a boat too in when you lived in what was it, countryside? Didn't you have a boat?
Yes.
I remember that now. Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, I said I ain't going. I'm not going without a spare tire. Though.
Yeah.
There's somebody's picture that
Oh, there's another picture. Oh, yeah. That is Eddie.
I'll be darned.
Look at the back of it. Thought that was cute.
To Uncle Ted from Eddie. Which Eddie?
Your son.
My son?
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That was probably why she was a little bit civilized. But right now, it's impossible.
Mhm.
You know.
So you said your mom, Engelbert, was born in the United States.
2 years old when they took her back to the country.
But you said she had sisters here.
Yes, Barbara and Victoria.
Were they older sisters?
Yes.
A lot older, or
quite a bit older. That's why they stayed.
Okay.
That's why they stayed behind.
Okay.
And her brother that could come up with his name was Endro.
Endro?
Yeah.
Like ENDRO or
yeah. ENDRO. But was actually Andrew. I think was spelled something. So that was her older brother, and that's him and my mom. They were taken back to Europe.
With her folks?
No.
Or who'd she go to Europe with?
With her mom and dad.
With her mom and dad.
Yeah, they had some business to take care. That's why they went to Europe, back to Europe.
So how much older were
her sisters? I'm gonna be guessing that because Barbara never married. She was unmarried all the way to the end. I would say 15, 20 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How would they be staying back in the United States with who?
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah. How did that?
Victoria was married. She married a guy by, her last name was Tabor. She married a guy with the name Tabor. And she had one daughter that was, how you call it? She was behind what do they call kids that they're not fully
like delayed or
delayed.
Oh, okay. Like had some like cognitive delays.
Whatever. Because her mom, I was trying to think of her daughter's name though, because her mom was always worried about me being single. I'm gonna marry her, not screw around with her daughter, because I would once in a while I would go over there to stop by to see him, to take a bus because I didn't drive because I couldn't drive again, and didn't have no car to drive. The only time when I started driving was in the army. I was there the black sergeant, Sergeant Brown, my platoon sergeant. And he called me in his office. He says, "That opening for a Jeep driver." And I says, "Oh." He says, "You're driving." I says, "I don't have driver's license. Never drove in my life. We're going to training for a week driving."
Wow.
And there were 4 guys from Boston, troublemakers, and they wanted that Jeep driver. They didn't want me to get it though. And what they were doing to the Jeep was unmentionable.
Really?
They would pour sugar into the gas.
Oh, wow.
I would have all 4 tires flat.
Wow.
And I told the sergeant, I said, "Sergeant Brown, you see what's happening? I'm being attacked and you give it to me." He said, "I'll fix that though." So we transferred the guys to another camp.
Oh, wow.
They're going out. He said, "They're gone."
Yeah, wow.
So, but anyway, then I had a lieutenant, first lieutenant driver. I was his driver. He was really mean. He kept yelling at me and 2 days around that, you know, and I was every night I went back to barracks tired, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then he transferred, and I got a captain to drive, and nicest guy in the world. He would even told me though, he says, if you want me to buy a sandwich, I'll just drive by the restaurant. He dropped me off, and I'll bring you a sandwich.
Oh, wow, nice.
I said, my God, look at this. Look at the difference between this and this.
Yeah, yeah.
And that guy's just a first lieutenant right now. No,
Mm-hmm.
second lieutenant, not
Second.
first, second lieutenant.
Ah,
And then I was a full was captain though.
wow.
And after the captain, I got even a major driving. Same thing, nicest person.
Mm.
The higher they rank, the nicer they were.
Wow.
Because if they're low rank, they want to act big.
Right.
So
Have something to prove, right?
something to prove that so
Yeah.
I can get to be a captain or whatever though. And but like I said, I served my time, got honorable discharge.
Mhm.
I never screwed up anything. And well, you seen my
Yeah.
and you know
And where were you stationed?
Fort Linderwood was like there was a training camp,
Uh-huh.
and I was shipped down to Fort Polk,
Mhm.
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
You don't want to go there. I mean, they got a mosquitoes about that low,
Wow.
you know.
And my dad was in the service at the same time.
Yes,
Where was he stationed? Do you remember?
Fort Hood, Texas.
Fort Hood in Texas.
That's
Gotcha.
he was a medic in the army. He was medic.
He was a medic. Okay.
He was because he was already trained as a doctor, so
Mm-hmm.
they knew that he's trained for medical. And I think he discharged from Fort Hood, Texas.
Fort Hood. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So tell me about your names. Zarko.
Is Boji means God's gift,
God's gift. Huh?
and Zarko means shiny sun, shine something like that,
Shining sun.
You know,
And how did Borjador and Zarko become Theodore and George?
why do I show you my how when I became a citizen?
Uh-huh.
I I I told him I don't want to be Zarko because I want to use a American name,
Uh-huh.
George. Okay, fine.
You just picked it. That's the name you liked and
Just
thought, I want to
yeah,
be George. Gotcha.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
picked it in.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And they had to put it in the back so that you can prove at one time you were not George, you were Zarko,
Uh-huh.
you know. And same thing with and both of that, and you know, mom and dad didn't weren't very happy when we did that.
Really?
No, because they picked the name for us.
Mm-hmm.
It just parents,
Sure.
you know, what
Yeah.
are you know. And but I told mom, I says, people come to the United States. I says, first thing they do, they name they change their name so it's Americanized, and
Mm-hmm.
you can communicate better with people.
Sure. And so did my dad just pick Ted? You just
Yeah.
like that name?
Yeah,
And
yes.
wow.
Yeah.
So what did you guys have to do, both you and my dad, to get the citizenship and actually what did that entail?
Oh my gosh, you got a booklet about that thing that when you apply for citizenship,
Uh-huh.
and they give you this booklet, and everybody told me, I says, you know more about the United States than we do. That's how much you have to learn, you know. And the only question that I missed, which I'm embarrassed right now, because they asked me, what's 4th of July?
Uh,
And I didn't know Independence Day.
mm, mm,
And I missed that.
uh,
And I lowered my head and I says, darn it. I says, I must have said that name 1,000 times, Independence. And here I am though. You know?
yeah.
So, but you were allowed to miss, I think it was 13 questions
Oh.
or something, and I missed only 1 or 2.
Wow.
So I did all right.
What year was that? Do you remember?
No, I became a citizen. That was after Army. So it was 1959.
59. And did my dad get that at the same time?
No, he did later though, because he was in longer in the army though.
Mm-mm.
So
when you guys were in the United States Army, you weren't United States citizens.
no.
Wow.
And your mom always kept saying though, how the heck did they drafted you without being a citizen? I said, don't ask me. I thought you have to,
Mhm.
you have to go to the army to become a citizen. I didn't know that.
So you were drafted? Or you signed up?
Volunteer draft.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
When I went to selective service office, the city later,
Mm-hmm.
went there, they asked me, since I was attending high school then when that happened in Detroit. So they asked me, said, you want to go now or later? And I looked at him. I said, how about now? He says, give me, no, they didn't know, give me five.
Yeah.
Just shake hands.
Done deal.
Done deal.
So did you finish high school?
I finished it here in Colorado.
You finished in Colorado. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did my dad finish high school?
Or he finished it in Croatia.
He finished it. Oh, great. Yeah, because he was older.
Or maybe in Austria or someplace. But I know he's older, and he but I went to that what's the university way up north and south, not south, east. What's that university? That's where I got my high school diploma. I can't even think of it up. And I had to study pretty hard also for that.
Yeah.
No. And you couldn't be a toolmaker anymore without a high school education.
Oh, gotcha.
They would have to lay you off. They would have to tell you goodbye.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I'm gonna goodbye. I said, I'm a toolmaker. I'm gonna make it.
Yeah. Wow.
And they did it on purpose because they wanted people to be more educated, having a high school diploma.
Yeah.
So if you only have 2 or 3 years of schooling, they're not going to hire you. And I think that's Carol's problem. I think she was probably second grade dropout.
Oh.
And she's very educated, and that's why maybe she's so mean.
How did you meet Carol?
It was what do they call it when you meet somebody? Blind date.
Oh, blind date.
Blind date. Yeah.
In Chicago.
In Chicago, I knew the Croatian girl that I was crazy about. But she already had a boyfriend, and I just kept asking her. I says, anybody? I tell you, I work with the girl, Caroline. I said, okay. And me, young, dumb, whatever. So, but that Croatian girl, she was Bosnian actually, and every day I went over by her house, and her mom says, "Don't come here anymore." Okay,
Yeah.
So, but that's how it happened though, and well, I did my best though. I gave her my paycheck every week from Rocky Flats. Pay the bills, do this. And one day I was called into the office at work, and I said, "Oh, what did I do now?"
Right.
The superintendent Smith, guy, he said, "George, your house hasn't been paid for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
And if you don't straighten that out now, we're gonna have to let you go."
Oh, geez.
He gave me a. He says, "You can be out of here."
Wow.
So that was about noon though. So I took off afternoon, went home. I said, Carol, what are you doing with the money? I said, I'm gonna lose my job because of you and here I got my security clearance.
Yeah.
Which is hard to get.
Right.
She looked at me, she said, "Who cares?" I said, "I care if it's my job."
Right.
And I gave you the check, the money. And I said, "That's done." I says, I'm going now. And I went down. There was a finance company over there, and I paid for 2 months right away. I apologized to them. I said, sorry about it. I says, it's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
And I told Carol, I says, it's time for me to file divorce. And she
Wow.
thought it was a joke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it wasn't a joke. I
Yeah.
filed
Yeah.
for divorce, and then the judge gave her a home, and she couldn't even handle that. She
Mm.
lost that.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
How long were you married?
30 years.
What was she doing with the money?
I couldn't even get it to know
Really?
what you do with the money.
Wow.
And I was making big
Well,
paychecks.
yeah, yeah.
I was, I, Andy, when I retired at 2001, I was already making $41 an hour.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Can you
In
imagine that
2001.
money?
You're right. Yeah. Back then,
Now,
20 some years
now
ago.
you would make half of that,
Right.
you know.
Right. Yeah. Mhm.
And she was.
Wow.
That's why I couldn't figure out.
Mm.
She must have been giving her parents money
Mm.
or something. They were retired already. Or,
Wow.
I have no idea. But the way she gave me an answer, I said, "What did you do with the money, though?" She said, "Who cares?"
Wow. It's
I said,
scary.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna lose my job. I
Yeah.
said,
It's really
my
scary.
clearance. I said,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
got a security clearance that took 11 months for me to check me out, though.
Yeah.
You know?
And to think about that, everything that you'd gone through in your life to get a security clearance like that
Oh,
is a
God.
really big deal.
Did you know they went to Croatia by me?
Did they really?
Yes.
Wow. Uh-huh.
Because I heard that from a distant family.
Uh-huh.
He says, you know what, Jarko? They call me Jarko.
Yeah.
They were over here, some kind of agents asking about you.
Wow.
I said, did they tell you what for? She says, no.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It's a
Yeah.
big deal, though.
Yeah. 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 Of course.
And then people from Chicago called me. They said, George, what did you do? We just had an FBI over here. I says, no, I want to get clearance for a job and,
Yeah. Yeah.
nuclear plant. Oh, so how you like Colorado? I said, love it, and so there was a couple of calls I had that I was surprised that they really check it
Oh
out.
yeah. Yeah. There for sure. Yeah. Nuclear power.
And then the union, for some reason, they allow me to get the clearance. I can get actually to see where they went, how they do it, what they do it. It was a stack about that much a while.
Wow.
And I don't know what I did with it though, but it was amazing to see how thoroughly they check you out though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh. Mm.
and and then I was already worried. I was working in the carbon shop, which is very nasty material.
Uh-huh.
You inhale that dust and all that.
Mm. Mhm.
And I told the foreman, I says, if I don't get my clearance, I says, I'm out of here. And he says, don't do anything
Mm.
till I call you. So a couple hours later, he calls me. And that wasn't the Smith guy. It was another guy with a different name.
Uh-huh.
He said, go pick up your clearance. I
Mhm.
said, here for, I said, for 11 months, I'm waiting for my clearance. And then when I got there was a black lady there, and she opened a drawer and she had about 5 or 6 clearances in there.
Oh wow.
And I said to her, I said, why didn't you call me to get my clearance?
Yeah.
She says, because I kept calling your foreman. No, you didn't. If she called my foreman, he would have told me to go get your clearance.
Right. Right. Uh-huh.
She's just too lazy to call.
She just wasn't.
And,
Oh,
and I was another 3 months there for not getting my clearance. I shouldn't have get a clearance.
and it just sit in the drawer.
Sit in the drawer, though.
Wow.
And what an amazing thing is that, because then when you get a clearance, you go everywhere where there's secret stuff,
Yeah.
secret blueprints, and I said, oh, I said, now I feel good though. I said, I got my clearance,
Yeah. Earned
you
it.
know. So,
Yep. That's amazing.
and I, my life was, here and there, right? Like I said, I'm surprised I'm still alive because I shouldn't be after the tunnel.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
tunnel was
Yeah.
uh,
Scary.
that must, what I was thinking, they must have had an Austrian guy driving the locomotive
Mm-hmm.
because I said if there was a Slovenian guy driving, maybe he would have stopped
Yep.
and killed us.
Yep.
You know.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, was it just lucky, or did that conductor get paid off, or was who knows? Like, it was just luck.
What I didn't know is how did those Austrian people know that we were coming out of the tunnel?
Right. Yeah. Right. That's a good
But
question.
in those days, they didn't have no cell phone.
Right. Yeah. Right. They didn't post it
They
online.
didn't
Right?
post it online. Right?
Yeah.
I think they had those what they call
Telegraph.
telegraph or something. You
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
But when we got there, I just what they doing over here? And we were all black, their clothes,
Oh, yeah.
the coal
Mhm.
and smoke,
Oh.
and they were clapping and welcome.
That's really cool.
So
That had to feel really good to see that.
gosh. Then I said to myself, I says, how long without letting know my parents
Yeah,
where I
yeah.
am, you know?
Mhm.
Because I didn't know if I could have sent them a letter. I didn't know what the communists going to do with the letter that I sent.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
Because communists, they were checking up on if you were,
Yeah.
and they did get my letter and got where I am.
Mhm.
And thank God I got their letter that they're very happy to know that I'm alive.
Yeah.
And well,
Was your grandpa still alive during that time?
yes,
Mhm.
that's when he sent me those gold coins.
Oh, that's right. That he was sending you the coins. Yeah. Did he just end up dying kind of old age, or did something happen to him because
Can you
of this?
imagine he was 99 years old when he died?
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, 99 years old.
Wow.
And the people that my cousin that owned the house where he was, I asked her, his wife, he says, were you really had to attend him very much every day?
Yeah.
She says, nothing. He did everything himself
Wow.
till the day he died.
Nice. Wow. That's amazing.
I said, oh my God. He took care of himself without, you know,
Mhm.
somebody else doing things for him.
That's great.
So so there's somebody in the family lived a long life. And then your dad dying at 50.
50,
You know, I couldn't believe that, you know.
That was, yeah. That's, I mean, so young at 50. How old was your dad when he died?
I think that was, he died in 1980.
No,
No?
he died in 19, I think 94,
Oh,
five.
died before Christmas, right?
Yeah,
My
yeah,
dad
yeah.
died the day before Christmas,
Yeah,
and mom died 6 days later.
yeah, yep. Hmm.
And how old was he? God,
He was born in 09, you said?
yeah, 09. So
09. And so it was 90, I think he died in 94, 1994.
was it?
I think because it was after my dad died. And
Right.
my dad died in 82.
Right.
So 94. So he was like 80, 85?
Right. You got it right
Yeah.
money. 85.
85?
Yeah, 85.
Yeah.
Mom was 84. 84, I think.
So there's a good history of the men living a long time.
Look at me, 85.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know what the outlier was for my dad. I wonder if it was, just some of his experiences. And,
Yesterday I was over at the trail, Colorado Trail, Clear Creek Trail, and I know the people, maintenance people, they do the job around there.
uh-huh.
And so this guy showed up, Lonnie. I know him for 25 years, and I said, Lonnie, where you been? Oh, he says, here and there. He's a Bronco fan, my goodness. Yeah. And he had this another guy with him. He said, I want you to meet, I don't know what his name was. Well, anyway, this guy that he introduced me to, he was a sheriff for 30 years. 30 years.
Oh, wow.
He retired at being a sheriff for 30 years. And he's got a job being a maintenance guy for park.
Oh, wow.
And he said to me, he says, I looked at him, I said, gosh, I said, look, over 45 years old, 30 years sheriff.
Yeah.
And he says, how old are you? I told him, 85. And he looked at me. He said, you're kidding. I said, I ain't kidding. He said, you don't look it. He said, you told me I don't look whatever old he was.
Yeah, yeah.
and he was a sheriff for 30 years.
Wow. Wow.
And he wanted a job in the office stuff. So
Mm.
Lonnie always makes fun of people like that, though, because he had so many people being partnered with him, and they all had different jobs, and he always ends up himself. And well, he's a Bronco fan, you wouldn't believe it, though. Don't say anything bad about Broncos. Man. And I know him for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. And you know him just from your walks, or is that?
Yeah, he knows me from the walks, though. Yeah. And they had me planted trees over there 1 year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was a whole bunch of us, old timers. So we would have 4 hours, and I think I planted about 12 or 14.
Mm.
And they went checking them, see if they're growing, though. You know?
Oh, that's cool.
And so I did something for Clear Creek.
That's really cool.
You know, and so.
What do you attribute the long life to?
You know, working hard, always being a true believer that you got to do work and don't be an idiot. Like I was when I was young.
Don't be an idiot. That might be my favorite. Yeah.
I knew when I was young that I told you a couple of times I was pretty bad kid, though. You know, and mom and dad, they had a very hard time with me, and not your dad. Your dad was there. Yeah, he was their future, and he was studious. Yeah, he never thought about messing around, goofing around like me, you know. And I was always wondering, I says, what do you think about me messing around like that all the time, getting in trouble? You know?
Yeah.
So I asked him about that, and he says, don't ask.
That was his answer for a lot of things. Yeah. Well, he wasn't a talkative guy.
No,
I mean, even with us, I would want to hear stories about different things, whatever. He was a pretty quiet guy. And I think that contributed a lot to his early death, that he kept so much stuff inside. Yep. And I think he had maybe a lot of trauma about what happened, in Croatia, and
maybe so. Yeah.
And just never really.
I don't even think that he even thought about going to Croatia at all.
Yeah, no, he was clear about that with us, that he was in America now, and that was that.
That was it, though. Yeah.
End of subject.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was very. He reminded me of the picture you showed my grandpa.
Yeah. Yes.
He was like grandpa.
Very.
Grandpa didn't, And here he comes to another country, and becomes and he becomes so very almost rich person. Hey, I mean, you own a grocery store, a tavern, a lumber mill where you cut lumber.
Yeah.
Own a whole bunch of land where you cut your own trees down. And having cows, and you got horses, and you got sheep and chickens, and here you are from Czech. You're not from Croatia.
Yeah, right.
I have never heard that man talk.
Yeah,
I've seen him all the time, but I never heard him say anything.
Yeah, I think my dad was similar in that way.
And like I told you, I went to the store, and he wouldn't say nothing to me. But then my grandma, come on.
She'd make up for it. Yeah.
Make up for it, though, And like I said, they had a lot of kids. So and like I said, your dad, maybe he kept too much inside of him, though.
Yeah. That, I think, smoked a lot of cigarettes.
Did he smoke?
Yeah.
I thought he quit. He didn't quit.
He never quit. No.
He never quit.
No. And if you look at some of these old pictures, all the way through up the pictures I have of our family, there's always a cigarette in his hand. Always a cigarette in his hand.
I didn't know that. I thought maybe he quit, though.
No, he never did. I think that definitely.
A lot to do with it.
Yeah. So your experience, you talked about houses burning down and seeing people, die.
Oh my gosh!
Did that ever impact you growing up, or as an adult, or?
Yes, it did. I could not believe like I told you, we were looking for our cows and horses
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
sheep. And every 100 feet or so, if this soldier or wounded you, and
Mm,
you know, I was told don't touch him,
mm, mm.
because they hurt him so badly they might shoot you.
Oh, wow.
And the worst thing was when I came across those two little school kids
Your friends.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
age.
Huh?
They were hugging each other,
Oh,
dead. Uh, and then after the war, a lot of ammunition was left all over the place. And
mm.
those two young little kids, they picked up a grenade and they sit on a bench and they exploded.
Oh, my gosh.
It killed both of them.
Wow. Wow.
So wars are terrible, no matter what. Though I mean, then if you would have seen the little town, all those houses burned down,
Yeah.
uh, and you see, what the heck's going on here, though?
How did you, and I don't even know if you can answer this question, and it's going to sound strange. How did you turn out so normal? Having all those experiences, seeing what you saw, having to escape, leave your family. How were you able to just?
I cannot, I just cannot come. How do they last to live
Yeah.
in such a bad condition? When a farmer, I told you about Nazi guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Even that experience, right?
Most of the kids my age in that condition they would have killed themselves.
Yeah.
Because living in that damn house without lights, without just dirt floor,
Mhm.
no water, no toilet, and you don't know at night what the heck is crawling in there.
Yeah.
You know,
And how long were you in that situation?
I was there for about 3.5 months. There.
Wow.
Yeah. And maybe if I were longer, though, maybe I would have killed myself.
Wow.
You know, either that or maybe I would have decided to go back to Croatia. Though.
Mm. Oh, wow.
And that would have hurt my grandpa because he was a strong anti-communist guy.
Uh-huh.
He
Mhm.
he wouldn't want to see me back into communism.
Yeah.
And, because the reason they sent me those coins was because he wanted me to stay
Yeah.
in not only Austria but go to the United States.
Yeah.
Because he was also a guy that left his country to came to another country.
Yeah.
And I could just I could never figure him out though. How did he did all that for himself? I mean,
Yeah.
the stores,
Everything.
taverns, the lumber mill, which is a big job.
Mm-hmm.
Because I went to the lumber mill a lot of times to see, watching them cutting those, making that lumber for houses, and I, and in the winter time though, he was old already, and you still be walking out there to a lumber mill because he didn't drive.
Ah, wow.
He didn't have no car. He didn't have no car.
Mm.
He was walking though. So, and what I could not figure out him from Czech Republic to Croatia, and a lot of my family, they now that Croatia is free and Czech Republic is free, a lot of them went to see where Grandpa came from.
Uh-huh.
And I made a mistake that I didn't go because one of my cousins asked me, "You want to drive to Czech Republic, see where Grandpa came from?"
Uh-huh.
And I don't know why I said no.
Oh.
And cousin looked, just okay.
Wow. You say he lived to be 99?
99.
Do you know what year he died? Or what year he was born?
I was already gone from that country, so but I see my cousin and wife. They took care because my mom and dad left, and they let them have the house.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And what I was surprised that my other cousin was so mad at me they wouldn't even talk to me, and he lived in Germany.
Oh.
Not in Croatia though. And him and I were good buddies, little kids. Because he thought that I came there to take the house away from them.
Yeah.
what do I want this freaking house? I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
I'm
I
just
mean,
here
this
to
is already
visit.
falling apart. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, everything's breaking down.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, you need $50,000 to repair the whole
Wow.
thing.
But
And,
that probably tells you a lot about just that mindset of living in fear of like losing
but
things.
you know, Andy, what surprised me though, because when I left, there was no water going into your houses. You had to go to well, fill up the cans of water and bring it.
Uh,
And me, I was sometimes when you fill up, well, they got a water that you fill up. But now every house has water in house,
uh-huh.
toilet in the house,
Mhm.
modern houses, new
Nice.
houses.
Uh-huh.
And one of my buddies that he moved one city from Lockwood to Delnice, and he built himself a home, most beautiful home, you know.
Mm.
And he died at age 50.
Oh wow.
He was
Wow.
a butcher,
Mm.
and he would bring meat from all over, get cows, and you know you can buy them,
Hmm.
and people in local would get meat, and he was a good business guy,
Wow.
and so a lot of young people in local died, and I think it's because it was strenuous,
Yeah.
you know, uh, war. It, you know, I'm gonna tell you the truth though, and I'm not lying though. In the bedroom that I slept overnight, there was a German guy with a machine gun in a window all night long shooting. And I'm sleeping
And he was in your bedroom?
in my bedroom
Wow.
with machine gun in the freaking window.
Who was he shooting? Just anybody that was walking by?
People, the woman next door, she got killed by him.
So why didn't he shoot you?
Why was he in the freaking bedroom
Yeah, like why?
where I slept? Though?
Yeah, right.
Why don't you go out there someplace?
Yeah.
You know.
Like why was he shooting other people in the neighborhood, but your family?
And my mom was afraid because
Yeah.
and she would sleep with me,
Yeah.
and but this is not telling you a lie.
No, I believe you. That's I
This
mean,
is freaking true story though.
wow. That's really scary.
And what you were just in what it's just trying to get out of me. Why is my mental
Yeah.
capacity still okay
Right. Yeah.
with all that stuff that I've
Mhm.
seen though? You know?
Right. That's what I was asking you. Like, how did you do it? How did you stay so strong your whole life?
I, I don't know how I did it
Mhm.
at 14 and a half,
I don't either. Yeah.
leaving parents
Hmm.
and not knowing what comes up next.
Yeah.
And if I didn't meet that Dalmatian guy, Ivan Zvijic, he was older than me, quite a bit older, and and he was only about 500 yards from where I was with that Nazi guy. And when I told him where I sleep and all that, he couldn't believe it, though. And I'll show it to you. And I was afraid at first to take him there.
Yeah.
I took him inside it, and he looked at me. He says, "You actually sleep here."
Wow.
And he says, "I'm going to talk to the farmer." I says, "You coming over there? We're the civilized people." And it's like a motel. I mean, I said to myself, "My gosh, from this to almost a motel,
Yeah. This guy
running
saved your life.
running water, toilets, and you know what else? These people had us eating in the kitchen with them.
Ah.
Can you believe that? Our working employees having their dinner with the people they pay to work there.
Wow.
I could not believe that. I
Wow.
mean, you're sitting with the people that they feed you, they pay you.
Wow.
What a difference for somebody that I never seen that guy's wife or his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
the Nazi guy.
Yeah.
What a difference for treating people.
Right. Yeah. Like
You
a
know?
human being. Yeah.
And big mistake I made. I never looked for Ivan. Really, where did he immigrate to? Canada or United States?
Mm.
And I don't know if he's still alive right now. He's much older than me, though. Probably I'm 85, and God knows how he was 120.
Oh.
You know, if if he was younger, though, maybe could have gone on internet and find
Oh,
out.
sure, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because
What was his name?
his name was Ivan Zizic.
Mm.
Zizic.
Ah,
But you got those. It's pronounced Zizic.
yeah, it's easy.
You know, and that person saved my life.
Wow, wow, that's amazing.
And let me tell you another story about a Slovenian guy that also was an employee at the same place.
Mm.
He he actually wanted to steal horses to bring them to Yugoslavia. He wanted me
Okay.
to go with him and steal horses. And even
Uh-huh.
he says I was listening to that guy,
Uh,
and I would not let you go out of here with him though. And they caught that guy. It was a newspaper, front page newspaper. Slovenian guy stealing horses.
oh, wow.
I would have been with that guy.
Wow. Oh, man. It's like a guardian angel out there.
So can you imagine what that farmer thought about what kind of person he had working over there?
Mm.
You know,
Mhm.
I mean, he is so nice to his working people, and then he gets somebody crap like that.
Yeah, stealing his
You
horse.
know,
Wow. Mhm.
and thank God he didn't steal a farmer's horses; he stole somebody else's
Mm.
horses. You know,
Wow.
and they caught him. I'm always glad to call him.
Yeah, yeah, for
You know?
sure.
And then Ivan says to me, says, "You see this?" He says, "I will not let you out of here."
Mm.
But he was Croatian. He was Dalmatian guy.
Mm-mm.
And
What are you saying? What kind of guy?
From Dalmatia.
Dalmatia?
Dalmatia.
Uh,
Dalmatian dogs. You heard of
yeah, yeah,
those?
yeah. Uh-huh.
That's where he comes from.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Because you have Dalmatian guys who is the Adriatic Sea, and then you got us who is like Colorado, forest, and Dalmatians people they don't like us wood guys. They call us wood guys.
Oh, yeah.
No, because they're not. This is they cutting my grass.
Oh, nice.
I gotta give a guy a check.
Okay, no problem.
What did I put that check?
Pause this here. Recording again. Turn this back on. There.
You can ask me any questions you want.
So you talked about your grandpa. What was his wife's name? Your grandma?
Natalia.
Natalia?
Natalia. Nata.
Natalia.
Natalia. Lia.
Natalia. Natalia. What about your mom's parents? You said that they brought her back.
Yeah, I never met them because they died very young.
Oh, they did after.
They died before we were born.
Oh.
So I can never see my on mom's side.
Ah. Do you know how your mom and dad met?
You don't have no idea.
Ah.
It's a little small little town, probably church.
Ah.
You know.
But they both grew up in Lokvik?
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
No. Well, mom, yeah, because mom was 2 years old when she left the United States, and then she grew up in local. You know, it, she would not tell anybody that she was born in USA because of communism.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, so you know they were afraid. She was afraid that because then there was communism against the United States.
Wow. Yep.
Remember this, how we were against Russia.
Oh yeah. Yes.
But what was crazy about Yugoslavia was that Tito was a president,
Mm.
and he was a Croatian guy. That he was the only country to stay out of Russia. Remember, Russia took over Czech Republic, Poland, Romania, Hungary. Russia took all those countries, not Yugoslavia.
Oh wow.
The Tito would not do them though.
Mm.
If they start talking about taking over Yugoslavia, he start talking to American politicians, you know, and then the Russians say, okay.
Mhm.
So he fooled them.
Wow.
In Yugoslavia now, how many countries did there? Let's see. When Yugoslavia died, 6 countries became from Yugoslavia.
Oh wow.
Slovenia, Croatia, Montenegro, Macedonia, mm, what's a couple more?
Serbia?
Serbia. That's not correct.
That's not part of the.
Well, yeah, but they're on their own now. But
Right, right.
They're not Croatia. Croatia. And how many more? Yeah, you're right. Serbia. There's another one. You're right. So that's 5. One more. Macedonia. So from the Yugoslavia, that was a huge country.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and Tito was a politician though.
Mm.
You want any water to
Oh,
drink?
I got mine right here.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
You good? You want to grab some water?
No. Okay. But like I says, when they split up though, I actually I was sending money though when there was a war, when the Croatia want to become independent.
Yeah.
The Serbs were killing them like crazy though,
Mhm.
and I sent money though for them to buy ammunition and guns and that.
Really?
Yes.
Who were you sending the money to? Your cousins or?
Yeah, cousins. So and they would.
Wow.
And because I wanted the communists get the hell out,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Because, the our mom and dad and grandpa was the very religious people,
Mhm.
you know. I mean, they church going, communism or no communism, they were going to church,
Mhm.
you know. And
Yeah.
and communists, they hate them for that.
Yeah.
You know. So, but like I said, grandpa, he was a strong Czech guy, you know.
Yeah.
And but I never could figure out. I never had a chance to, because probably would never had. I would like to ask him, why did you come from Czech to Croatia?
Right, right.
And I would be afraid to ask him that.
Mm. Why? Why would you be afraid?
Because he was one of those persons that never seemed to talk to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And even to this day, though, I didn't know how he sounded talking, though.
Wow. Wow.
And yet he was so nice to me, being in Austria,
Mhm.
sending those gold coins,
Yeah.
that he had feelings for people,
Right, right.
for families.
You just didn't know how to show it necessarily.
Exactly. And to me, that was amazing, though, that he would do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every time he did that, I would send him a thank you card,
Uh,
and I'm sure that he appreciated it.
for sure. Yeah.
And then I had another cousin though. He was a postmaster in Mrkvicka,
Mm.
and he made a big mistake. He Every time somebody from the United States would send a letter to Mrkvicka, he would open it up and take the money.
Oh, geez. Oh, wow.
And they caught him though, and he spent time in jail.
Oh, I bet.
And I guess he learned his lesson though, and then he would send me in Austria, so I wouldn't go back to Yugoslavia. Just
Hmm.
just to take it easy and everything gonna be okay. Because he did not want me to come back to Yugoslavia.
Mm.
And yet here I was a criminal,
Right.
stealing money,
Mhm.
because there was a distant cousin right now lives there. Uh, she sent me locally a calendar.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool.
So I sent her $20 in the
Mhm.
cards, and guess what? They stole it.
Wow.
She says, "Darn it!" He says, "Those criminals." Because I put down dollars 20
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
card, and she said, "You said that you send,
Uh-huh.
and those criminals, they stole it."
Wow. Wow.
Post office.
Yeah. Corrupt. Wow. Mhm.
And what I wondered if the grandpa you send more than 3 coins, though. I wonder how many they stole, though.
Right. I mean, yeah. Right.
And
Mhm.
but I could have been more appreciative to him than
Mm.
this, because I could have I went to the store and buy some candies and cookies and all that,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and have some money in the pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shillings. Every coin was 25 shillings,
Wow.
and that's Austrian money.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that Austria is just like Germany. They speak the same language,
Mhm.
and yet they are different money, different
Uh-huh.
monetary,
Yeah.
and I guess different politician and all that. And, but like I said, Grandpa, when he gave me that picture, man, when I seen it, I said, "Oh, I seen that picture, man, many times."
Yeah. The face.
You know,
Yeah. He doesn't look very like he's very joyful in that picture. Very.
studious and
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
and here he was. He knew that I needed help,
Yeah. Mhm.
and and how I went through that 3.5 or 4.5 months with that building. I didn't know what was in that building, though.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And when I needed to go to the bathroom, though, I had to go in the woods,
Wow.
you know. And who do you know was there? Bears.
Right. Yeah. Well, I
How,
mean, it had to have
how,
been.
how would you treat an employee without a bathroom,
Yeah.
without a water? How can you how can you even think
Yeah.
about treating an employee like
Yeah.
this?
Well, and more than employee, a child, right? You were, just a, young kid, and it had to have been bad if
Yes.
you were thinking about going back to Croatia, right? If you had already escaped it and you thought, well, maybe the life would even still. So you left Croatia in 1951,
Yes.
and then what year did you go back for the first time?
Oh, gosh, just I would say about 8 years ago
Really?
from here.
Was the first time you'd been back?
Yeah, the first time I went back, though, I bet you it's probably more than Croatia became independent was 1990, I think.
Hmm.
Uh, and you know what? I bet you it's close to about. I think I went to Croatia 2000. I was already retired. I retired in 2001
Mm.
when I went to Croatia. So it must have been about 2006, something like
So
that.
over 50 years.
That was the first time I went back where I was born.
What was that like going back there after all that time?
I couldn't believe it, that improvement they had in the living conditions.
Mm-hmm.
But what I couldn't believe was how many empty houses.
Really? Uh-huh.
50% of the homes in Glockner are empty.
Really?
People just moved out
Mm.
because there's no future. There's no future there.
Ah.
And there's some nice homes
Mm-hmm.
and some bad homes.
Mm.
And a couple of my cousins, they left their homes.
Mm.
They got it boarded up. Nobody in it.
Oh, wow.
And they live in that town I told you about. It's called Rijeka. That's right. That's a very industrious city. It's called in Italian. It's called Fiume, because those Italian soldiers they always said Fiume.
Oh, yeah.
Rijeka. There was a little town there, and a lot of Italians lived there because they loved the place.
And how are you pronouncing it?
Rijeka.
How would you spell that?
It's a river. Rijeka would be Rijeka.
Gotcha.
Rijeka.
How far is that from Mrkvicka?
About 20 kilometers,
Okay.
very close to the Adriatic Sea.
Gotcha.
And a lot of these people, they left their homes. They live in Rijeka because they got a factories there. They got homes.
Mhm.
They can find a job,
Mhm.
And it was so sad for me to see all those homes empty, you
Mhm.
know. I remember we all used to live there,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember most of the people, I knew people.
Was any of your grandfather's stuff still there at all? The buildings, the tavern, the homes, the stores?
It was the house was still there because I told you my mom and dad left that house for my cousin
Mm-hmm.
Ivan and his wife Francisca, and 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 when I came there, my cousin he got them excited that I might take their home though.
Yeah.
I have a home here. Do I need that home?
Yeah.
I mean, that home's going to be gone in about 20 more years. And that was the biggest surprise for me. And I never did tell that to anybody there,
Mm-hmm.
which I should have, because there's another cousin, Mattia, they lived in Canada.
The one who's in that picture, that little boy Matt. That
Maybe that's him,
you said was
right?
with your
Maybe,
mom. Yeah.
yeah. And he's both. He has two daughters, Renata
Mm-hmm.
and my goodness. Anyway, they both speak fluent English
Mm.
because they grew up in Canada,
Gotcha.
and they both have a good job in being a translator for English.
Are they Mrkvickas as well?
No,
or are they?
no, Skender.
They're
Like
Skanders.
remember I showed you that mom's.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Skender.
Mhm.
Yeah, the one is Skender. That's the one that they grew up. They grew up in Canada,
Mhm.
and we went to see him one time. Your dad, myself, mom, and dad, and there was a trip away from Chicago to Canada. It was 2,000 some miles,
Wow.
and we drove and drove and drove, and we came there, and it was really amazing to meet this cousin. He was probably about 20 years older than me,
Mm.
so he was up in age, and we stayed there for a week, and then he came to Chicago, and he couldn't find our house, so he called me up. He said, "George, you have to come get me," and he told me where he was. He was in a bad neighborhood,
Mm.
so I went over there and got him, and he was so happy to see me, though. He said, "I'll follow you to your house, mom and dad house," which was here, I think.
Mm.
And so many things happened, though. And like I said, his daughters both speak Renata and Gina. That's their names.
Mm.
And Gina is the one that really she's fluent in English. She has a job as an interpreter for a big company,
Mm.
and she's making very good money though.
Yeah.
You know. And Renata, though, she didn't want no job, so mostly she also lives in Rijeka, the same town though.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, half of that local people they moved out, and a lot of them live in Rijeka, and a lot of them live in Zagreb. That's in
Zagreb. Yeah.
Zagreb. There's a lot of factories over there.
Mm.
A lot of people move there,
Zagreb.
you know, because if you don't have a job, you don't make money. Though.
Mm.
what are you going to do in Lokwe?
Yeah.
You know, and so I was sad to see that, and but you go where you can make a living.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and the guy that I told you that postmaster, him and his wife, my cousin, they live in Zagreb. But I think he probably was the sorriest guy in the world that he did that because
But
he repented that he was very sorry about, and that's why he was sending me letters and his pictures and keep telling me just be strong, like don't come to back to Yugoslavia.
wow.
So he was encouraging me to
Hmm.
just go the way.
Yeah. Keep going forward.
And you know maybe he knew about my mom and dad thinking about leaving Lockwood
Uh-huh.
because they were very close with my cousin, the mom.
Mm-hmm.
So so he was thinking, oh well, if mom and dad, then he's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So so when I came back to Croatia to see him, I thanked him for that.
Uh-huh.
I says, I thank you for all you did, though, and all the letters and pictures you sent me. And I didn't want to mention what he did, though.
Sure.
You know,
Do you know how much time he had to serve?
few years, I
Wow.
think. They didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
You know, the post office was very.
Yeah.
So, and like I say, it's my $20 that I sent this girl. It's gone.
Well, I found this when I was going through the pictures. I found this article about, you're mentioning it. They interviewed, I guess, my dad.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember this article? Yugoslav escapes to new life.
Oh no, I never seen
Is
that.
that right?
In Fort Rocket, Alabama. It's misspelled his name though. It's B.O.
Uh-huh.
Bojidar. Oh my gosh, never seen that.
Yeah, so I brought that for you.
Oh,
But yeah, you're mentioned in it. Ted's brother Zarko, now a private station at Fort Polk, Louisiana, escaped with some friends in 1954. And from him, Ted and his parents got word indirectly about what they could expect if they escaped.
I see that they lived for several months in Detroit. Oh yeah, yeah.
But he talks about,
But they got the date, that 1954, wrong. But it's,
yeah,
I think,
because you said 51.
yeah,
Yep.
51 though.
But my dad talks about how he had to learn Russian for 8 years.
Oh my gosh, oh,
It's
that's right, Russian though. Yes, yes. You know, in elementary school where we had to also learn because they have a different alphabet. Yeah, Croatian alphabet is like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Serbian is Russian alphabet, and it's totally different. It's like almost like Greek alphabet. You know?
Gotcha. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so in Yugoslavia, you have to actually learn two languages,
Wow.
which would be Croatian and Serbian, and also Russian and
Wow.
and Yugoslavian. They wouldn't dare call Croatian. They would have to be called Yugoslavian.
Yugoslavian.
You know, so because then the Serb would get very mad if you would call Croatian because.
Yeah, he talks about kind of what you talked about, like being a barber.
Yeah, can you leave this?
That's yours. Yeah, yeah. I brought two. Yeah, one for you.
Oh my gosh, I like to read that.
Yeah. It's and he talks about. There's also a very unpleasant thing called voluntary work, with which the government plagues the people. The work is, of course.
Do you know what year this was? November 14. What year?
I think this was. Let's see. Who?
I see that month, a day, but I don't see the year.
It says who fled from Yugoslavia with his parents just 3 years ago.
Oh.
So what year did he leave? You said he left in 54?
Yeah, I think so. He left it, yeah. Oh.
So this would have been 57.
Right. That 1954 was about your dad, my dad. And see, they call it look what they call it lowberry. Did you see that?
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it kind of gives the kind of his some of his experience. Um,
oh, there's over here, there's Brothers Arco now, Fort, a private station in Fort. Yeah, I told you, Fort Polk, Louisiana.
yep.
Escaped with some friends. No, that was wrong. 1954. It was 1951.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's kind of an
oh
interesting
man,
story. So
that's a great thing. Wow.
yeah.
I wonder how come I've never seen that.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it came from, who had it. It's kind of a beat up article, but yeah, it's pretty old.
Pretty old though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Escapes to freedom.
And you can see it's saying what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
It's almost it didn't say about me being transferred to Camp Kilmer, New Jersey for 6 months,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I loved it over there. It was so nice.
Is that right? Oh.
My God, there's girls,
Mm-hmm.
and because they tried to escape the communism,
Mm.
and then we as a soldier we were able to take them to show the movies
Ah. Uh-huh.
because there was a town called, my gosh, it was just a one street town, and all they had is shows and taverns on each side, uh, and they had a theater down there, and we would take them down there and bring them back to the camp,
Mm.
all
Mm.
the Jewish girls and boys, and I I enjoyed it because I didn't have to get up at 4 in the morning uh, because I was an office boy
Yeah. Uh-huh.
checking their in IDs
Yeah.
and make sure that they have right IDs and all that. And nothing like when I came back to Fort Polk, I had to get up. I had to be outside at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
And the sergeant, every time he came to my name, we call the names to they call it a roll call.
Uh-huh.
Every time he came to my name, I raised my hand because he didn't know. He didn't know how to
You
pronounce
just
it.
knew you. Yes.
I said, here.
Uh,
And then I asked him, I said, Sarge, I says, you know me now for quite a few months. I says, Mrkvicka, not that hard.
Yeah.
It is for me. So he says, well, you don't mind, do you, if I just stop and you say hi? I said, okay, it's all right.
Yeah, wherever you way.
Oh, it's whatever. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And can you imagine all the soldiers, they have to be outside at 5 in the morning.
Oh. Mm-mm.
And then you got to have breakfast at 7. And then from then on, you got training.
Wow.
And I remember one time I was so hot outside, and I had a full pack on my back. I fell asleep in a class, and this mean sergeant, though, he made me to go outside where there was a baseball field,
Uh-huh.
made me run with the full pack,
Oh, geez.
and he caught up with me and he kicked me so hard in my butt that I thought he broke something.
Wow. Oh,
Can
geez.
you imagine if he would do that now?
Oh, yeah.
Today? He was a southerner. He was from down south. He was a
Ah.
very mean guy.
Mhm.
And I dozed off because I was tired already from 20-mile hike. You know.
Right. Of course.
I mean, we just made a 20-mile hike, with a full pack.
Wow.
And he just pointed to me and says, out.
Jeez.
And I knew that's going to happen, though.
Yeah.
And my buddies, though, that my friends said, they were sorry about that happening. This is all of us were tired.
Yeah.
I mean, he shouldn't have been like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank God they replaced him, sent him somewhere else.
Oh, good.
You know. But a lot of learning, though. For especially for a second training that I had. I tell you about. It sounds like engineering though, you know.
Oh yeah.
Engineer battalion, it sounds kind of, oh my gosh, engineer. And so work, you know. It's all that teach you how to, if the if this bridge is blown up, you gotta build pontoons for the tanks to cross the river,
Yeah.
you know.
Wow.
And then you had to go into the river though, and get those pontoons though, and that's a lot of work.
Oof.
And but after a while, I enjoyed it though. I said they taught me a lot of stuff though.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
they taught me what you do. They taught you about everything. I taught you about snake bites,
Mm.
you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to go into that area where there's snakes,
Mm.
and that's one thing I'm scared of, snakes.
Wow.
And I told that to sergeant.
Oh no.
And he said, "You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Everybody's scared of snakes. Just go and do it." So they teach you,
Mhm.
I tell you, a basic training for young people. I think is good.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know,
Absolutely.
because they taught me what's living all about.
How long were you in the service?
18 months.
18 months. How old were you when you went in?
I 55, 1955. How many years is that? I was volunteer drafted 1955.
So you're 19 maybe?
So 1936.
Mhm.
19.
Yeah, 19 years old. Wow. Yep. That's amazing.
1955 to 57. Oh, it was longer than 22 months. Not 8. Yeah, 22
Yeah,
months.
2 years. Wow.
Pretty close to 2 years.
And you know how long my dad was in?
Your dad was in for over 2 years.
Over 2 years.
Yeah.
And you know what year he went in?
I think after a couple of years after I did, though.
Okay. So there was just a little overlap when he was
Or
coming in and you were going out.
Let's see. I met him at the when I showed you that picture.
Yeah.
1957. That picture was taken. 1956.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I used to be pretty good at numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
now the brain is not
understand
working.
that.
But I think it was either a year and a half, something like that.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking of how old was he when I met him to make that picture though. And that picture was made with your dad's camera
Mm.
because your dad gave a picture to another soldier,
Ah.
and your dad asked him, he said, "Would you take a picture of three of us?"
Yeah.
And I did a good job. And your dad was very good with cameras.
Mm.
He loved cameras. He take pictures of everything,
Yeah.
you know. And myself though, when I went the first time to Europe, I did buy a very expensive camera and made quite a few nice pictures.
Ah.
And some pictures were long, about I think 12 inch long.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow.
And I still got the camera.
So how did, let me ask you about Vince. So Vince grew up in Lokve as well.
Lokve, yes.
Did he escape with my dad, or did he?
I think so.
They came together
I
as
think they came
friends.
together. This is one thing I don't know, but I know they were the good buddies forever and ever. From Lokve to Austria to United States, buddies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with Winslow. I seen his older brother in London. I used to see him in Lokve, but I never see Winslow. So I have no idea.
Wow.
I don't think your dad was old enough to be a soldier. 1932, 8 years to maybe 40. No way he could be a soldier. So he was just a kid like myself.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's crazy though. I never seen him or your dad.
Wow.
In
Yeah.
Lokve. And yet I see his sister and his brother though.
Yeah, it's an interesting piece of the puzzle.
So
yeah.
And Didi, I never converse with her about Mrkvicka
Yeah.
because she wasn't that interested about, but I told her though, I says, I used to kid around with her. I says, you know what, Didi, if I didn't escape from Yugoslavia, you would never meet Vince, so you would never have a husband. And she looked at me, she said, you know what, I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. None of us would be here.
Yeah,
None of us would be here.
I start, I'm not bragging about it, I'm just a fact.
Oh, you've earned the right to brag. You've earned it.
I started a circle about us escaping,
Yeah.
and then you become my brother's son,
Mhm.
and but like I said, I used to always kid with her. Though I says, I said if I wouldn't have left, if I wouldn't have left Yugoslavia, I said you wouldn't have no husband.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe that to be true.
And she laughed. She says, you know, you're right. So
yeah, I'm sure I wouldn't be sitting here. Mark wouldn't be. My kids certainly wouldn't be. Right? Like all because of that. It's amazing.
how old was David when your mom and dad adopted him? David.
He was maybe 2 months. 2 months old.
Oh, just a baby though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a pretty fast adoption.
Oh, I thought it was maybe 2 or 3 years old.
No,
just a baby though.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. I think Father Jones had something to do with.
Was that right?
Yeah, fast tracking that for them. Yeah.
David, such a nice. I feel so happy for him to have his stomach.
Yeah, I'm really excited for him too.
Because he just cannot make that step over here,
Yeah.
you know. And I had to move my cars out because he helped me with my laptop, and I made sure that he can, you know, make a step in that step made it so he can. Over here, though, he says he didn't want to make the step though because it's too hot. And when I'm gonna have a new driveway, I'm gonna have a 2-step, not one step.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So so people are gonna be able to come in there.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's
and it must have been hard for my mom and dad being old making that step though. And I don't know why did they build such a high step?
Such a huge step. Yep. Yeah.
You know. But like I said, though, I'm happy I escaped from commies.
Yeah.
And so I was proud. I was proud to serve in the United States Army, and got my. I mean, I didn't cause no trouble there. And
well, you know what? Probably being the rambunctious kid that you were in Mrkvicka, the kind of the troublemaker, is probably what kept you alive.
I think so.
You know, and gave you the courage to do what you needed to do. So, you know, you sneaking into taverns and stealing some wine and doing all that kind of stuff is probably.
And look at me now. I haven't had a drop of booze in 5 years.
Is that right?
I don't have any alcohol. I don't need it. I don't like alcohol.
Yeah.
And here was a little kid.
Yeah. But that's probably what that determination and that spunk and that attitude is probably what got you. You know, that's probably was a driving factor in getting you to where you needed to be and surviving.
And you know, I was a good student in grammar school in Mrkvicka. And got all. I think they had from 1 to 5, and all my were 5s. And my mom and dad were hot and proud of me, you know. But then when I started high school in Delnice, which is one town west, I think, because it's a bigger town, and they had a high school building. I wasn't very good in there because I think it was about 6 was more. We left school and we went to one building close to a rail station, and all 6 of us slept there, and the parents didn't know where we were.
Oh wow!
That's how bad we were. And then,
prepared you for life.
and then I met this guy from my cousin's husband, the guy that same guy that we slept in this building by area, and he says, "Why don't wouldn't you be happy over there without?" I said, "What the hell was his name?" It was my cousin's husband though.
Mm.
Milan was his name. I said, "Milan, that wasn't nice of us doing that though." "Oh no, we did it though." So he was also, and his name is Wolf, which is German.
Mm-hmm.
And that card that I sent to the girl, it sends, it sends a calendar.
Mhm.
Her name is Wolf, German name.
Mm.
And she sent me an email. Money was gone.
Wow.
Shame on these people. You know, they shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be doing that.
Yep, I agree. Wow.
But
well, can I take some pictures?
yes.
I want to take some pictures of you. I want you with some of your awards and that kind of stuff. Can I do that?
Any picture you want to take.
All right, let's take a couple pictures. George, this is great. I really appreciate it. I've been wanting this for a really long time to get the story. And I know it's probably hard to tell.
I am the happiest guy in the world that you're doing this.
Yeah,
because I am glad that your kids going to see what the life was all about in Croatia, locally.
Yep.
And knowing what people go through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some stuff they probably don't want to see it though.
Well, it's important that everybody knows what our history is, right? What makes us Mrkvickas.
I don't think I used any bad words.
Not at all. No.
You know, and
no, you did great. This is really important, and I think it's important that we know our history. And like I said, I remember, like I said, being a little kid and just asking my dad to tell me stories, and he just wouldn't. And then so I think he just.
You know, I was very jealous of him because he was always so studious though.
Mm-hmm.
He liked to read books. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he was as a husband though.
Mm-hmm. I don't even really know.
You know, but and then he also rebuilt the basement in your house.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
All by himself.
Did the basement. He loved working on cars. He liked doing all that kind of stuff.
I know your mom liked him working on cars though.
Yeah.
I know, and also she liked Vince to work on her car.
Yes.
Because I remember Vince was doing something for her car one time, and I think he had a stroke or something.
Mm-hmm. You're right. I forgot about that, but you're right.
Mm-hmm. I didn't find it out till about later.
Mm-hmm.
But things happen though.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
what
are we gonna do? So, any picture you want to take is fine with me, though.
All right, let me hit the stop on this here, and then I'll take a couple of photographs. Thanks again, George. I really appreciate it.
There's some Pepsi and some 7-Up in there if you want it, and some water, ice cold water.
Excellent, thank you.
Let me get the stuff that you want to take pictures with.